When you open your phone and see that red line plummeting downward, your heart races. You feel a suffocating physical pressure in your chest. Your fingers move to sell before your brain even processes the numbers. You swear every morning you will stick to your long-term plan. Yet you find yourself trapped in an exhausting cycle of constant checking. This isn't a lack of intelligence or discipline. You are navigating a sophisticated behavioral cage. Elite developers engineered these interfaces specifically to bypass your rational boundaries and harvest your capital through high transaction volume. Every notification and celebratory animation is a calculated attempt to hijack your reward pathways. These platforms utilize intermittent positive reinforcement, the exact same psychological conditioning casinos use to make slot machines addictive. Every platform you use is built by someone smarter than you, optimizing for something other than your interest. That's not paranoia, it's product design. This channel exists to pull back the curtain on the architecture, the psychology, the algorithms, and the agentic AI systems increasingly running the show, in trading, in cybersecurity, in the tools you use every day. No hype, no fear-mongering, just the mechanics of how these systems actually work and how to build your own defenses against them. If you want to understand the machine instead of being run by it, you're in the right place. Subscribe, and let's get into it. They transform serious financial risk into a dopamine-driven loop that overrides your deliberate cognitive processing. If you rely on pure willpower against a mathematically rigged choice architecture, the system will eventually win. This imbalance is called loss aversion. The psychological pain of losing money is mathematically twice as intense as the joy of gaining it. When a portfolio dips, your primal brain perceives that red number as a direct survival threat. Trading apps weaponize this threat by offering a frictionless exit. They provide an immediate, easy escape from the psychological pain, encouraging you to hit the sell button to make the agonizing panic stop. This emotional relief comes at a massive cost. You lock in temporary losses at the worst possible moment, permanently destroying the leverage you would have kept if you had stayed on the recovery curve. Financial media algorithms further amplify this panic. They frame daily economic developments in extreme threat-based terms to exploit your present bias, forcing you to wildly overestimate the probability of a crash based on a single headline. Absolute convenience in personal finance is a carefully disguised trap. It is designed to herd you toward high-risk emotional reactions that benefit the house, not your net worth. To reclaim your capital, you have to stop operating like livestock in a digital consumer farm. You must adopt the cold, calculating efficiency of a strategist who values systems over emotions. The first step is viewing money as a neutral form of energy. By stripping the emotional weight from your capital, you can treat it logically as expendable ammunition for your long-term objectives. This requires the concept of strategic overmatch. You don't fight a digital notification by trying to ignore it. You render the psychological attack physically impossible by removing the trigger entirely. True financial power is rigorously controlled and detached from sensory stimulation. You must trade the illusion of gamified control for rigid, emotion-proof structural systems. The friction protocol builds the first wall. By deleting every gamified mobile app and forcing all trades to happen on a slow desktop computer, you create a physical barrier between your impulse and your money. This intentional delay gives your slow, logical brain the time it needs to override your impulsive caveman brain. The immediate dopamine rush is neutralized before you can make a mistake. You then implement a dopamine detox by systematically eliminating fear-mongering financial media. Every urgent alert and market notification that relies on fear to capture your attention must be silenced. Starving your chronic anxiety of its daily fuel allows your nervous system to recalibrate. You return to a baseline of calm, where you can make decisions based on data rather than artificial urgency. These physical and informational obstacles create a fortress. They ensure that your accumulated capital is protected from sudden bouts of panic and the predatory design of the platform. Next, you must practice loss detachment. By completely severing your personal self-worth from your net worth, you neutralize the paralysis that usually follows a market dip. This allows for silent accumulation. While others chase flashy, socially driven wins in meme stocks, you focus on the boring, automated reality of long-term assets. Quietly building a diversified fortress in the dark, grants you immunity from the cycle of status emulation. You no longer need the social validation of a winning trade. This leads to the autonomous mandate. You stop consuming financial entertainment and start sourcing your own uncompromised data, trusting your research over the suggestions of an algorithm. Reclaiming your intellectual autonomy severs the invisible strings that technology platforms use to steer your capital. You are no longer the product being harvested. Imagine the market dips again, the numbers drop, and that initial survival threat flares up in your chest, demanding that you do something right now. This time, the impulse slams into the barrier of strategic friction. The apps are gone, the media is silent. The panic dies completely, because there is no way to execute an emotional trade. Because your identity is detached from the daily fluctuations, your wealth remains safe. It continues to compound in the background, while the rest of the world remains trapped on the digital treadmill. This is the result of rigorous control. True power is found in remaining completely unshaken, whether the market applauds you or ignores you. The modern economy thrives on your anxiety. It wants you reactive and engaged, because that engagement is what maximizes their transaction volume. Your smartphone is a psychological weapon pointed directly at your bank account. It is optimized to keep you chasing an unpredictable manufactured high at the expense of your future. Every time you refuse to react to a market dip, you reclaim your autonomy. You are trading the illusion of gamified convenience for the reality of structural independence. Stop feeding these digital traps. By building systems that prioritize friction over ease, you move your wealth into the shadows, where it can grow silently and systematically beyond the reach of the algorithm. The apps aren't going away. The notifications, the red numbers, the manufactured urgency, that's the business model, and it isn't changing. What changes is whether you're operating inside their system or outside it. Build the friction, kill the noise. Let your capital compound in silence while everyone else stays on the treadmill. If this gave you a system worth using, hit subscribe. This channel breaks down the architecture behind the tech and platforms working against you and hands you the countermeasures. Drop a comment. What's the first thing you're deleting off your phone today? And if you want the next layer of this, how these same psychological triggers show up in AI-driven trading tools, check out the Tech Money playlist.